Make a opening comment about the game, and then we'll go to questions.
Sure. Do I need to introduce the players here?
I think with their jerseys on.
Okay, everyone's good. Boy, opening comment. Well, first of all, give credit to Springfield. You know, to play the same team 3 times in a row in this game is rare, to say the least. And to win 3 times in a row is even rarer. So the fact that we were able to pull it off and do it is a testament, really, to the guys that are sitting here and our resilience. You know, it was tough. You know, most of the playoff games at halftime, it's kind of been in hand, and you know, here we took everything we had, needed a stand at the last play of the half to not be down. You know, and I think our kids were feeling it. It's like, guys, this is how it's going to be. You know, we got it the second half at 0-0. I wouldn't want it any other way to win a state championship. You know, you find that tough way to do it, and the defense stepped up, and you know, we controlled the ball in the fourth quarter like we do. And you know, I can't be more prouder of these guys that are sitting here. A testament to the senior class that you know, I'm just really proud of them.
Coach, talk about the especially those last 2 drives where you went ground and pound and just ate up clock, and just talk about, if any of the offensive linemen like to talk about
Sure.
about just your guys' role, and even Brandon as well.
We went behind these 2 guys, and you know, I think, you know, we ran it to our sideline, and we could see that they were kind of wearing down a little bit, you know, and we were getting that vibe out there, so we were milking the clock and just kept coming at them. We said we could just churn out 2 or 3 first downs here. You know, they had wasted a timeout earlier in the half, or had used a timeout earlier in the half, and you know, they had 2, they had to use them. We get the first down. We were debating if we should score there, you know, but it's like, hey, that's too hard. Just, you know, get in the end zone there, and we'll try and hold them off, which that wasn't easy either. So.
Then follow up on that. When you guys are out there, you can see a team, because we talked about it earlier in the year. You can tell when a team starts to wear down. What's that mentality like for you guys? Because it feels like you get that killer instinct at that point.
Yeah, I mean, throughout all of our games so far, we just, you know, keep pounding on the D line until they start to give up, and then we feel that, and it gives us this supreme confidence that, you know, they haven't been able to stop the run all day, so why would they be able to once they get tired? And from that point, that's where we dominate our games, and that's where we win. That's why we hold with the 4s, you know, because that's fourth quarters when they're getting tired, and at that time, you know, that's where we win.
For you, I mean, 235 in the state championship game. Could you have imagined this starting in week 1 with the limited action you were getting to what you've gotten to now?
No, not at all. When I didn't start, Ben just told me take advantage of every opportunity I get. Just go from there.
You shouldn't even be talking now. He's only a sophomore.
Nate, can you tell me about the defense there at the end of the first half when they were about to score, and it was a goal line stand, and it kept them from taking the lead and then getting the ball in the second half? So did you feel a momentum shift or anything like that out of the defensive end?
Yeah, I think you know, we've been put in those situations before where our backs up are against the wall. You know, we're in the red zone. We got to make a stop, and I think we went back on what our culture is. You know, digging deep in those tough moments in the game, and we pulled through, which we know how to do in those situations.
Right.
Nate and Troy, I'm just wondering from a defense, same kind of a follow-up to that. Second half, you shut them out in the second half. What happened at halftime in terms of adjustments, be it attitudinal and be it schematic? What was different in the second half?
Well, you know, it's kind of like that classic saying of, you know, you come out, it's 0-0. You start like the clock just started first quarter. You know, you got to come out thumping. You got to come out hitting, just like it's fresh slate. So we came out, reset our minds, and stuck it to them.
Casey, 2-part question for you. Number 1, is this the healthiest you've felt in a while? Because it looked like you played like you felt 100% healthy out there. And 2, those couple of runs that you had early on, do you think that kind of got them thrown off defensively, not knowing how you were going to play?
Yeah, I mean, my knee's been a struggle all year, but our training staff did a great job of being able to get me back for this game. You know, I really wanted to be out there with my brothers at the end of this season, and yeah, I felt great tonight. You know, I felt like I was running the ball well, and yeah, I mean, I bet it surprised them a little knowing I haven't run in the past few weeks or really at all in the playoffs. But you know, it's pretty easy to run when all eyes are on Brandon because he's carrying the team down the field every drive.
Casey, I keep thinking back to that Colvin game. You're limping and you still ripped off like a 44-yard run. What kind of adrenaline were you running on these last few weeks?
Oh, it was a lot. I mean, I just think like our class, we knew we really could make history. So, when you're in the game and when that adrenaline's going, your pain and your injuries aren't really at the front of your mind. So, I was just worried on the task at hand and just excited to make history with my boys.
Coach Musgrave said that the Maslin loss played a real role in the kind of jumpstart, or whatever. What role did that game play this year?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you say that again? I wasn't.
Yeah, that's it. Last year you said the Maslin game was fuel for you guys going through the playoffs. So what was the Maslin game this year?
I don't, recall making that statement last year. It was a loss. Guys, look, you play the schedule we play. The odds are you're not going undefeated. It's just there's too many good teams going back to back to back. So, I always say you learn from all your experiences. It's just, a loss is never good. A loss is, you don't want a loss. But if you take the positives out of a loss, like, hey, what is our real evaluation as a team? What are we doing well? What do we need to improve on? Sometimes you see it better under a microscope after a loss. The game's the same game. Like, let's say we get an onside kick and kick a field goal and beat Maslin 16-15. The game was the game. We still gave up yards to the quarterback. We didn't run the ball as well as we could. We just won the game. So we happened to lose. It was 2 touchdowns and 2 touchdowns. We missed an extra point. They made a 2-point play. And, the point is, at that point in the season, that's how you would look at that. And the same on a victory, by the way. Sometimes, Elder, we won. If that field goal goes off and we lose, it's the same damn game. You know what I'm saying? You still have to look at it in the same way. It just feels better when you win, but you still play the same way.
What distinguishes this year's team from the previous 2 years?
I'm sorry?
What distinguishes this team from the previous 2 years?
What distinguishes this team? They've been strong senior classes. I just think, what distinguishes this is we did it with all the pressure on us. And I'll be honest, I feel a little bit of relief more than joy in some ways. I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel joy, but I also feel relief because I wouldn't be able to handle the feeling of not getting the last one done, for these guys. And we got together and we found a way to do it under tough circumstances. And that's, the feel. The expectation was there. I think we were rated number 1 the entire year. And, you're taking everyone's best shot. And that's a testament to these guys to be able to do that.
Ben, can you speak to no more Deontay, Devontae, what it's going to be like, the 3 of you, what you guys shared, what you have going against those Buckeyes now? What's just what are you going to miss from all of this, and what has it meant to you, and what's it meant to the team?
I mean, being at the school, being on this team for the last 3-4 years, it has been, nothing short of exceptional. And, being able to, go to school with guys like those and be brothers with guys like they are, as, highly recruited, going to the, same type of schools for football. I think that, a relationship like that, I think is unique. And, with them enrolling early, middle of January, I got a month left with them. So, it's going to be a great month, but, I mean, everything taken from the school, from the team, I mean, all the relationships, I mean, it's all, there's too much not to mention.
Then to circle back to Casey running on adrenaline, Brandon has 3 or 4 games down the stretch to close the season with 200 yards rushing. Did you guys kind of get an adrenaline burst too, having your quarterback back?
Having our quarterback back, I mean, when you think of the O-line, you think of, they protect the quarterback. And, that's something we try to do our best with all year. And when he went down, it was just kind of, we kind of took it personal. When he went down, it became personal for us. And I think from that point on, we started just, dominating teams. And that, that was like fuel to the fire. I mean, it was all, it was also emotional seeing him go down and what a strong leader he was for the team. I don't know if it's just for the O-line, but for the whole team. Seeing him go down with the leader that he was, really pushes all that, 10% further.
Casey.
Did the holes get bigger the last few weeks?
Yes, I got 3-4 holes to pick from.
Casey, St. Ed's has had 7 state championships now in football, and 6 different quarterbacks. You're the first one to do it twice. You got some help from Thomas this year. Can you comment on that?
Oh, Thomas did a great job this year. Especially with me going down against Elder and him having to come in a game like Maslin against such a great team and such a tough atmosphere. He really played great that game and really improved throughout the whole year, and he did great whenever he was in. So I was really proud of him, and I'm excited to see him play in the future. But, I'm honored to be able to win 2 state championships here at Eds, but, our class really made history, and I'm proud of our whole team.
Coach, you talked about drawing from experiences. Was there any experience in the last 2 times you faced this team that you might have drawn on at halftime when it was tied, trying to get them to go out there in the third one?
You know, they're such a different team offensively than they were the last couple of years. So we faced a different kind of animal that way with putting Scott at quarterback. They threw it decently, but they ran it well. You know, Norman in the inside zones hurt us a little bit, 24 a little bit, and they hit some passes too, which we knew they had 4 good receivers still, but they weren't as pass happy as they were the last 2 years in terms of being empty. With Smoot, it was more he would run the ball. You know, he was their runner. Last year, he wasn't as, although he did have some effective runs in the scramble situation. So we prepared differently. So it wasn't that we drew. You know, both teams watched the films from the previous years and saw they did some different things defensively. I thought, this year than they have in the last couple of years against us as well. That we had to kind of adjust to at halftime as well. But in the end, when you got the line and the physicality we have, it's like you can line up how you want to line up. It's a 4-quarter game, a 15-round fight. Those middle rounds sometimes go back and forth, and they certainly went probably more their way in the middle rounds, and then we were able to finish it.
Were you guys expecting the unexpected with Scott, especially maybe even playing even more quarterback than he's played before?
No, we thought they probably would do it as much or more than they even did. Like we were ready for it, and they did some stuff under center too with 3 backs where he'd fake the play they scored on, kind of like a double lead play from the wishbone, and he'd boot out the other way, and if he gets around the edge, forget about it. I don't know if there's anyone in the state catching him. He's just that fast. So we had to really concentrate on keeping him bottled in there. What they did a nice job of was, as he ran those stretch plays and trying to get the edge, he planted his foot and cut up under a couple times and made some tough yards that way. Particularly on that drive before the half, I think.
Leader, Troy, for either of you, once you guys took that 3-point lead and you guys went out there and got the defensive stop, at that point, what was the feeling going out for that defensive possession?
I think it was just, we had like 2 minutes left or a minute and a half, and that was our whole season on the line, and we really had to dig deep and get that stop. I think it was just, everybody came together as one unit, and we all talked to each other about what we needed to do to get them off that field and win this game. And it came down, like I said, to our basic stuff, like our fundamentals and our attitude over everything. It was all mindset, I think.
And I think you were talking about the drive before that last drive. Yeah, I can't remember what happened in that drive.
I think it was a 3-and-out.
3-and-out, yeah. We stopped Scott on his quarterback sweep on third down.
John made the big play on the sweep.
Yeah, that's what it was. All right.
Okay, any more questions here?
Coach, you've talked about these seniors. You just talked about the foundation that they've built, and like you said, that they're going to leave behind.
Well, the foundation has really been built. They just added upon it, I would say, in a great way. The legacy they left now, that might be tough to top. That might be tough to top. No, we're gonna try like hell. But I'll tell you, to be able to do this and get to this stage, just through the season, you need a lot of things. You need depth. You need luck. There's things that you go up and down. You feel great about yourself some games. You feel down about yourself some games. You run the ball well some games. You throw the ball well some games. You play good pass defense some games. You play good run defense. Then you play bad pass defense. You see the whole thing, and then similar to Springfield. Like that's with the playoffs the way they are now. With the like when you get 12, if you keep that mindset, you could lose a couple and start playing well and have a chance. There's no question about it.
Coach, you talked about the pressure that you felt to get the third one with this group and make sure that you helped them finish it off. At what point does the pressure for 4 mount, and is the pressure for 4 more than 3, or does it become a little bit less?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to think about 4 until I'm going to get on this bus on the way home and enjoy it tonight. And I've been making this line, you're only as good as your last game, and I'll tell you, I'm going to enjoy my last game for a while now.
Can you just talk about Brandon a little bit more? He had 235 rushing yards today, and again, he came on heavy at the end of the season. This is for you and for Tanner.
I'll start. Brandon is, first of all, he's a humble kid. I had him in class in math freshman year, so got to know him really well that way. and he did all his homework, which I was proud of you for. But anyways, you know, the thing about it is vision in the hole. He sees the cut, he sets up his blocks, and he accelerates through it. That's what I've been saying. And a lot of that is not, you know, kind of teachable. And I think he's had 200 yards in almost every playoff game, or could have, you know, if he got them in there. So now, a lot of that, there's 3 or 4 holes to pick from, as he said too. You know, like, we'll see how good he is if there's not 3 or 4 and there's 1, he's got to go through there. But my point is, you know, the combination really hit, and we found our niche there in the Moeller game. I'd say is where we really saw that this is what we could be, and this is what, you know, what we could do rushing the football. And I don't know how many yards he ended up with. I'm sure it's a lot for the season, but he didn't have many through, you know, 5 games, 6 games. He didn't have that many yards. So, you know, but you know, you're playing almost 2 seasons. I mean, think about this. You know, 16 games. By the way, you know, we got to look at this. I mean, for high school kids that do this, you know, we've done it 3 years in a row now, and a lot of these, you know, they're doing this. You know, we're talking about player safety and wear and tear on the body. Well, the NFL, you know, there's 17 weeks. They have bye weeks. College has a bye week, playing 13 weeks a lot of times. These high school kids are going, you know, training all summer, training in the off season, going to college camps, playing 16 games without a bye week for the most part, and then a lot of them are going on to another sport without much rest. You know, something that ought to be considered.
Amen.
Okay, we all good here? Congratulations, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.